Welcome to the Afterspin. Opinions from thought leaders in our state. Becki Gray, in the recent short session, lawmakers considered but didn't pass legislation that would require daycare centers, schools, and water parks to test their water for lead and other contamination. Now, some believe the reason it didn't pass was because it came up so late in the session and no funding was provided for the testing. Why would you say we do or don't need the legislation, and can we expect to see it again in 2017?
I think we do, and I do think that we'll see it again in 2017. Now, Tom, that bill, first of all, it was kind of two parts to that. That bill started out in May as a bill that would require testing for lead in water in schools and child care centers that were built before 1987. After that situation at the Whitewater Center near Charlotte, where that woman tragically died because of the disease, the amoeba thing that she got from that water there, the Whitewater piece was added to that bill. This was just 4 days before the General Assembly was going to adjourn. What they did was they required that Whitewater Center, water recreation centers, I think is what they called it, to have the same criteria as a swimming pool would. And again, this was 4 days before the General Assembly was going to adjourn. It passed the House, went over to the Senate. At that point, things were moving very rapidly at that point. A top official from the DHHS department stepped in and said, can we just put the brakes on this? The Federal Center for Disease Control was looking at it. There were other things that were looking at it. The Whitewater people had called in experts. They'd closed the place down by then. So in all of this, it was no one's intent just to let it go and not to look at it. In the meantime, there have been studies that have been done. Just this week, a group of experts from Clemson University have come in to do additional studies on this to see what can be done. Does the whole place need to be re-engineered? Initial expense reports on that were $10 million, which the Whitewater Center, questionable whether they would be able to reopen. So again, this is something that just needed a little bit more attention. Again, in the meantime, this Whitewater Center has closed down. They're doing an evaluation. They've drained it. They're studying all of that. So there is no danger to the public. And I do believe in 2017, probably before the General Assembly comes back, we may very well see a study committee to look at it, working with the different agencies to make sure that it is not under-regulated, it's not over-regulated, but the appropriate measures are put into place.
Well, thank you for watching the Afterspin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.